My name is Emily. I'm 30 years old now. A marketing manager thriving in Seattle? But let's go back to where it all began. My childhood in that rigid house in Chicago. My mom, Jennifer, ruled with an iron grip. Obsessed with keeping up family traditions. No one dared question. My sister Jessica, 2 years older, was her golden child. If Jessica spilled juice, it was a laugh. If I dropped a plate, Emily, you should know better. I was the strong one. Expected to handle everything without a fuss. I still remember my 10th birthday. I'd been counting down, picturing a cake, maybe a small gift. But that morning, the house buzzed with prep for Jessica's beauty pageant the next day. Mom ironed her dress. Dad coached her walk. I mumbled, "Isn't today special?" Mom barely looked up. "Oh, sweetie, we're swamped with Jessica's big moment. You're so mature, you understand." I forced a nod. But inside, I felt invisible. That night, I hid in my room, tears streaming down my face. The next day, Jessica won her little crown, and the house erupted. Our star, Mom cheered, hugging her tight. Me forgotten again. It wasn't a one-time thing. Birthdays blurred into a pattern. At 8, they merged mine with Jessica's dance recital. Everyone clapped for her twirls, while my cake sat ignored in a corner. By 12, I noticed the gaps. Jessica got new outfits for school. Me, hand-me-downs that barely fit. Boys don't care about fashion. Mom's hoga. We'll get you new stuff next time. Next time never came. The emotional sting hit harder. My first saxophone recital in 7th grade, months of practice. Mom and Dad showed up 15 minutes late. They left early because Jessica had a stomachache. Yet they never missed her dances. Front row with flowers. Snapping photos. Christmas mornings were brutal. Jessica unwrapped gaming consoles. Bikes. Whatever she wanted. Me socks. School supplies. Or a clearance book. 1 year. At 16. She got a shiny new phone. I got a $50 gift card. When I asked why, Mom said, "Jessica needs encouragement. You're so self-sufficient." Self-sufficient. More like overlooked. I pushed harder in school, thinking grades might win them over. Straight A's. Honor roll, nothing. Jessica scraped a B once. And they threw a pizza party to lift her spirits. High school was tougher. I worked part-time. Saved for college myself. Jessica's tuition covered because she followed the family path. I earned scholarships. Studied late alone. She partied. And Mom excused her hangovers. "She's just young." Mom said. Young. I was younger. Carrying it all. Those early years shaped me. I became the reliable one. Fixing crisis. But that invisibility carved a hole in me. I wondered if I'd ever be worth celebrating. It planted the seed for what came later. In psychology, this is called the golden child scapegoat trap. It's not love, it's control. The golden child, like Jessica, get praise, but only if they obey every rule. The scapegoat, me, gets blamed, pushed aside. Yet, here's the twist in that rejection. I found freedom. Freedom from the weight of pleasing them. It's ironic. But the scapegoat often grows stronger, unshackled by expectations. Back then, I didn't see it, but it was the start of my strength. Those memories lingered as I grew. They fueled the fire that erupted on my 30th birthday. Stay with me, things are about to get wild. As I stepped into adulthood, the patterns from childhood didn't vanish, they just got more exhausting. I left Chicago for Seattle right after college, chasing a marketing job that promised independence. Finally, I thought, a fresh start. But family ties don't snap that easy. I became the reliable one. The fixer they called when things fell apart. And they fell apart a lot. My first big paycheck felt like a win. I'd scraped through school on scholarships and side gigs. No help from home. Jessica full ride. Because she needed the support. I started sending money back, small amounts at first. To cover groceries or bills. Mom would call. Voice sweet. "Emily, you're such a blessing. We couldn't make it without you." But then I'd see Jessica's social media tropical vacations. Fancy dinners. Where's the money going, I'd wonder. One winter, Mom had a knee surgery. Bills piled up, thousands in copays. I wired what I could, dipping into my savings. Jessica. She posted from a spa retreat that week. "Self-care is key." Her caption read. When I asked Mom about it, she sighed. "Jessica's stressed from work. You understand she's not as tough as you." Tough. I was burning out, juggling my job and their crises. Then came the financial meltdown. Dad's car broke down. right as their roof leaked. Emily, we need help. Mom pleaded. I canceled a rare vacation, my first in years, to fly back. Spent the weekend sorting paperwork, calling repairmen, cooking meals. Jessica breezed in for an hour, complained about the mess, then left for a party. As she hugged Mom goodbye, Mom beamed. You keep our traditions alive. Jess, family gatherings mean everything. To me, a quick pat. Thanks for handling the boring stuff. That night, alone in my old room. Guilt gnawed at me. Why did I keep giving therapy started then? My counselor said, you're playing the role they assigned the dutiful one. But where's the reciprocity? It hit hard. I realized the exhaustion wasn't just physical, it was emotional drain. From years of unacknowledged effort. Still, I persisted. My promotion to manager was huge. Long hours paid off. I called home. Excited. That's great, Mom said flatly. Then, oh, Jessica closed a big deal today. We're throwing her a little bash. A bash for a deal. My milestone got a footnote. I kept sending checks. 1 month. $5,000 for Mom's ongoing therapy. You owe us. After all, we've sacrificed. She said once. Sacrificed. Like forgetting my existence. Jessica chimed in on a group call. You're always so calculating. Calculating. I was bleeding dry. Therapy peeled back layers. This is burnout. My counselor explained. Unrecognized sacrifice reinforces the cycle. You give more, hoping for change that never comes. It made sense. The favoritism had morphed into exploitation. I felt trapped in obligation. But anger simmered beneath. As my 30th birthday neared, I hinted broadly. Let's do something special. I texted the family chat. Crickets. Jessica responded with emojis about her upcoming promotion party. The invite arrived soon after glitzy. Over the top. My heart sank. Another reminder I was the shadow. Always. That silence on my birthday, it wasn't new. But this time, it ignited something. The reliable one was done being invisible. Little did they know. The storm was brewing. Blocking them felt like a weight lifted at first. But the silence didn't last. Within hours, my phone buzzed with voicemails. Not from Mom or Jessica, but from aunts, uncles, even distant cousins. Emily, how could you do this to your mother? Aunt Karen's voice cracked. After everything she sacrificed. Like what, praising Jessica while ignoring me? I listened. Heart sinking. It was orchestrated. I knew. Mom's handiwork. Twisting the story. I became the ungrateful daughter. The one who abandoned family. Jessica jumped in online. Her story popped up a photo of her with Mom. Caption, family sticks together no matter what. Subtle digs in the comments from relatives. Some people forget their roots. Roots, I'd been the one watering them. The rumors spread like wildfire. A family friend messaged, heard your careers made you too busy for us. Sad. Busy, I'd flown home for every crisis. Jennifer fueled it. I could tell her classic move. Rallying the troops against the troublemaker. Isolation crept in. Old friends from Chicago stopped liking my posts. A cousin unfollowed me. It felt like erasure. Like my side didn't matter. Doubt sneaked up. Was I overreacting? Maybe I was jealous? Lauren saw me spiraling. This isn't normal, she said, over coffee. They're gaslighting you, making you question reality to keep control. Document it all. Her words grounded me. I saved every message. Every post. Anger replaced doubt. I wouldn't let them rewrite my story. Anonymous text started selfish much. Family first, or else. Chills ran down my spine. Who sent them? Jessica, Mom's allies. The threats amped up the tension, making sleep impossible. In family dynamics, gaslighting is a powerhouse tool for control. It's when they distort facts, you're too sensitive. Or, that never happened, to make you doubt your sanity. It's deliberate. Chipping away at your confidence until you comply. Spotting it, that's your weapon. It turns the tables. Showing their fear of truth. With Lauren's push, I geared up. The whispers weren't breaking me, they were building my fire. But the real storm was just ahead. What came next? You won't believe it. The whispers turned into a full-blown gale. Mom's email landed like a punch. You're uninvited from Thanksgiving. Your actions show you've chosen distance from us. Chosen, they'd been shoving me away for years. Jessica dialed from a hidden number next. Air voice dripped venom. Who do you think you are? Blocking, Mom. I'm just protecting our family traditions. Protecting more like hoarding the spotlight? I shot back. Family? You mean your ego? She hung up. But the damage lingered. Relatives piled on. Texts from cousins. Standing with Jess' family first. One even shared a group photo from a recent gathering. Me cropped out. It stung. like being airbrushed from history. Social media notifications slowed, old connections faded. A high school buddy messaged. Heard you're too big time for us now. Big time, I was just surviving. The exclusion hit deeper. Invites to family events stopped. Uncle's birthday. Zoom everyone but me. Lauren noticed my withdrawal. This is isolation tactics. She said. They're cutting you off to break you. But you're stronger. Hit them where it hurts at the party. Subtle threats escalated. An email from an unknown address. Come back or regret it. Paranoia set in. Were they watching my posts? Sleep evaded me. Replaced by replays of past slights. But Lauren's plan sparked resolve. Document more. She urged. I screenshot everything. Building my case. Social circles shrank. A cousin blocked me after family talks. It felt like exile. Powerless yet clarifying. Their control was crumbling my world. But it forged my fight. Helplessness morphed into fire. I wouldn't crumble, I'd storm in. In toxic families. Social exclusion is a silent weapon. It isolates you, making you crave reconnection on their terms. It's subtle control, pushing you towards surrender. But recognizing it flips the script, turns vulnerability into strategy. With Lauren by my side, I prepared. The party loomed. What unfolded there? Brace yourself. It was explosive. The drive to Chicago stretched my nerves thin. Lauren had snagged the invite details from a mutual friend, confirming Jessica's party was happening tonight. You ready? She asked. Eyes steady on the road. I nodded. Heart racing. The venue loomed, lights blazing. Music pulsing through the walls. 60 guests? A live band. All for Jessica's big promotion. My birthday a silent void. We slipped in through a side door, Lauren scouted. The air thumped with bass. Balloons bobbed. Tables groaned with appetizers. Guests laughed. Clinking glasses, pure extravagance against my takeout night. Angasuil. I spotted Mom. Jennifer. By the bar. Chatting with relatives. Wineglass in hand. Jessica held court nearby. Laughing loud. Center of it all. I strode over. Lauren close. Mom. I cut in. Voice firm. Head swiveled. Why throw this for her and forget me? Mom's face drained. Emily. You weren't invited. Whispers buzzed. Jessica's smirk faltered. I deserve an answer. I pressed. Why am I always invisible to you? A cousin muttered. Not now. But I stood tall. Explain. Jessica gets the spotlight. I get nothing. Guests shifted. Uneasy. Mom's panic flared. You're ruining her night security. No. Police. She's trespassing. She fumbled for her phone. Dialing fast. The band stumbled mid-song. Phones popped up. Recording. Jessica hissed. Always the drama queen. Huh. Drama. This was years of hurt erupting. Officers stormed in. Badges glinting. Ma'am. Disturbance reported. One said. I held my ground. Pulse hammering. I'm her daughter. Just asking why I'm erased from their lives. Mom jabbed a finger. She's uninvited. Harassing us, Jessica nodded. Arms crossed. That smug bias on display. Lauren stepped up. Hold on, let's sort this. She pulled me aside. Whispering. Keep cool. Evidence is ready. Police separated us. Barking questions. ID, relation, what's this about? Humiliation seared me. Guests murmured. Poor Jennifer. Emily's out of line. But a spark ignited, finally speaking my truth. Years of silence broke here. Amid this glittering chaos, an officer turned to Mom. Why the call? She stammered. She's jealous, wrecking everything, jealous of their neglect. Lauren rallied sympathetic guests. Whispering. There's more to this. Doubt flickered in some eyes. Jessica snapped pics. Likely for her spin. But the tide turned. Whispers of curiosity grew. Confrontation like this. It's raw. Messy. But it rips off masks. Direct challenge forces truth out. Cracking their perfect lie. No more hiding behind family first. Police issued a warning, no charges if I left. But the night shifted. Phones buzzed with shares. The real explosion. Lauren's next move. Stay tuned. It rewrote everything. As police sorted us into groups. Questions firing like gunfire. Lauren stayed calm. Now, she murmured, tapping her phone. I'd handed her the screenshots. Old family chats I'd saved. Mom's words glared back. Jessica keeps our traditions alive. Emily's too headstrong. Doesn't need us. Another skip her birthday fuss. She's self-sufficient. Lauren posted it anonymously, timing it with the venue's Wi-Fi. Phones dinged instantly. A guest squinted at her screen. Is this from your group chat? She thrust it toward Mom. Jennifer's face went white. What's this? An officer asked. Peering over. Guests huddled. Scrolling. Gasps cut the air. Jennifer said, Jessica's the favorite because she upholds traditions, a cousin whispered. And Emily's just too independent. Mom clutched her chest. Muttering. That's private, we had to protect Jessica, she's our legacy. Her excuse crumbled as relatives closed in. Jessica shrieked. It's fake. She's twisting it, but more phones lit up. The post rocketed, online shares spiked. Comments flooded. Disgusting favoritism. Emily's been robbed. An uncle frowned. We suspected bias. But this, it's blatant. The room split. Some guests edged toward me. Murmuring. That tracks with what I've seen. Jessica bolted. Tears smearing her makeup. Shoving past the band in a huff. Police paused. Reassessing. This alters the situation. One noted. No arrests, just a cooling off order. But Mom stood isolated. Relatives' whispers turning sharp. Validation washed over me. The pain was real. Not imagined. Those chats, her own words, proved it. No more gaslighting. The injustice. Stripped bare. Unshackled my spirit. Evidence flips the game. Solid proof turns suspicion into fact. Showing the bias wasn't your fault. It empowers. Shifting power to the truth teller. As we exited, the buzz grew. Online. The story ignited trending hashtags. Support pouring in. But my victory. Seeing their united front fracture. What came next? A new dawn. Don't miss it. The days after the party blurred into a haze. I crashed at Lauren's, replaying the chaos, the gasps, the viral storm. My phone exploded with notifications. But not from family. Strangers shared stories. This happened to me too. Validation poured in. But inside, I was raw. Therapy. The next morning felt urgent. My counselor leaned forward. What shifted for you? I spilled it all, the confrontation. The exposed chats. I saw their game. I said, I'm not the problem. Lauren joined later. Coffee in hand. You owned that room. She grinned. But her eyes softened. How do you feel now, Free? I whispered. Like I don't need their nod anymore. We talked for hours. I realized my worth wasn't chained to their approval. Traditions. Just a veil for control. Jessica's perfection was a trap. My independence. A label to justify neglect. Mom called that afternoon, her voice shaky. Emily. Let's talk. It was a misunderstanding. Excuses tumbled out. We love you both. But Jessica needs more. Hollow words. I cut in. No. Own it or don't call. Click. No guilt this time. Jessica texted next. You ruined everything. Ruined her facade. Maybe. I blocked her too. No more feeding their drama. To symbolize the break. I donated the money I'd saved for family emergencies, thousands, to a charity for overlooked kids. It felt right. Closing that chapter. Healing trickled in. I leaned on Lauren. Colleagues. New friends, my chosen family. They celebrated small wins. Listened without judgment. Wounds from years of erasure began to scar over. The exhaustion from manipulation faded. Peace settled. Quiet but strong. In family psychology, the golden child scapegoat system locks everyone in. The golden child. Like Jessica. Shoulders, endless expectations, praise only for compliance. The scapegoat? Me. Absorbs blame. Becoming the outlet for family flaws. But insight cracks it open. You realize roles aren't destiny, they're inventions. Stepping away redefines you. Turning pain into power. That awareness hit like dawn. No longer chasing shadows. I built my light. But the aftermath, it wasn't over. What came months later sealed it all. 6 months later. My life soared. The promotion to senior manager landed. My team cheering my strategies. I traveled for conferences. Networking with people who lifted me up. Lauren and new friends became my anchor nights of laughter over dinners. Weekends hiking Seattle trails. Online. My story sparked forums where others shared. My parents did this too. You're not alone. They wrote. It drove me forward. Jennifer and Jessica, their world crumbled. Relatives drifted, cousins stopped texting. Aunts skipped calls. We saw the chats. An uncle messaged me quietly. Can't unsee it? Jessica's social media faded. Her perfect life posts dwindled. Likes tanking. Ecleon dropped her. Whisper said. Thanks to the scandal. Online forums dug deeper. Unearthing more messages. Turning public opinion sour. Mom bore the heaviest fall. Alone in that Chicago house. She rattled around. Dad's silence a quiet judgment. She called twice. First, Emily. Let's move past this. Forgive us. Forgive without owning it, I ignored it. Second. Weeks later. Can we talk? I miss you? Her voice trembled. But excuses followed. Jessica's fragile, she needed more. Fragile. I'd carried their weight. Not until you admit the bias. I said. All those years sidelining me. Silence. Then. I tried my best. Her best, it failed me. I hung up. Firm. Their ripple hit hard. A family reunion canceled. Tension too thick. Jessica's circle shrank to a few loyalists. Her image cracked. Mum volunteered more. Maybe to fill the gap. But her posts showed a hollow smile. I thrived. Joined a family estrangement support group. Swapping stories and laughs. Dated someone who celebrated my wins without comparison. Boundaries clicked, no more bending for others. A cousin reached out. We're sorry we missed it. Coffee, some bridges rebuilt. My way. But with Mom and Jessica, no contact held. Their isolation echoed my past, fitting justice. Unfairness carries consequences. The biased face exile when truth hits. Victims find freedom in letting go. It shifts the balance. Wrongdoers lose. You gain authenticity. This victory took time. But it was mine. What cemented it? One last reflection awaits. I learned that justice doesn't always come from the people who should give it sometimes. It's forged by standing up for yourself. In my case, years of being sidelined built a quiet storm. But exposing it brought clarity. You don't have to stay in the shadows of favoritism. Spot the signs early. The overlooked efforts. The gaslighting excuses. The unequal celebrations. Break the cycle before it breaks you. If this story hits home, remember, you deserve visibility and reciprocity. Don't wait for apologies that may never come. Build your own path. Surround yourself with those who see your worth. Share in the comments. How have you felt invisible? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tales of reclaiming power. Thanks for joining my journey. Story 2. I was in excruciating misery the day my sister made her demand for my house. Updating the walls in the living area for her engagement supper. I still chuckle in that hollow manner at the irony. Your chest hurts from that. I'm Nicole. And I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to preventing this property from becoming just another foreclosure crisis statistic. Rosalind, my younger sister, was sharing stories on Instagram from Cabo at the time to pay my mortgage. I was living off of ramen and working 2 jobs. There was nothing left of my father's gambling habit. Nicole. Rosalind's voice cut through my focus as the front door banged. Why don't you have on some clothes yet? In an hour. Everyone will be here. Wiping perspiration from my brow. I descended from the stepladder and completed some necessary touch-ups on the wall. The wall doesn't matter to anyone. Rosalind dismissively waved her immaculately manicured hand. The light fell on her engagement ring. It's probably worth more than my whole closet. The parents of Easton will be arriving. This property must have a flawless appearance. I suppressed an answer about how I kept this home looking flawless all the time. I feigned a smile instead. I need 20 minutes to change and take a shower. As I was zipping up my dress, the doorbell rang. My roommate and best friend, Trinity, peered into my room. Your parents are present. Do you want my hero to run interference? I gave my lips a swift sweep. How awful is it, already? Your dad is griping about the thermostat. Additionally, your mom is moving the appetizers I laid out. Fantastic. I inhaled deeply before going downstairs. Our Nicole is there. Mom kissed my cheek and whispered that the home looks... Darling. She hesitated, looking for criticism. You did your best? Though. Dad never even raised his head from his phone. This place is extremely hot. It's a waste of money. It's also good to see you, I whispered. But they were now swooning over Easton, who had just come with his parents, and Rosalind. The actual supper was agonizing, as everyone talked about wedding plans and future grandchildren. I sat there getting my dinner. I noticed my dad's fingers twitching as he continued to discuss investment options. And I knew too much about his gambling past. Rosalind cleared her throat after that. We wanted to talk to you about something important. Nicole. There was silence in the room. I saw my parents look at each other. As you are aware, Rosalind went on. I want to begin our lives with Easton. Somewhere historic. Someplace remarkable. I felt sick to my stomach. They wouldn't. Of course. But I could see where this was headed. We believe it would be fantastic. Mom got right in. If you presented your sister with the house as a wedding gift. The fork clattered against the plate as it fell out of my hand. Please pardon me. That's a great idea. Dad said sternly. You're single and career-focused. Rosalind requires a suitable family residence. A decent family house. Slowly. I repeated. Do you mean the house I've been paying for since I was 22 and that I kept from going into foreclosure? Rosalind gave an eye roll. Avoid being theatrical. We all pitched in. Everyone was helpful. I got up so quickly that my chair brushed the floor. When I had to leave college to make ends meet while working 60-hour weeks. Where was your assistance, Nicole? Now. The tone of Mom's voice became the sickly sweet tone she used to attempt to control me. We are related. Family members help one another. Family. Even I thought it sounded weird when I laughed. Is that the name we are using for this? Trinity lightly stroked my arm. Let's all take a breath. Perhaps. There's no need. I remarked abruptly. I'll give it some thought. I felt nauseous at the relief on their expressions. They believed they had triumphed. As usual. Already displaying Pinterest boards on her phone to provide Easton's mother with remodeling ideas. Rosalind grinned. After everyone had gone later that evening, I sat by myself in my kitchen and gazed over the business card that my friend Luke, a realtor, had given me months prior, just in case. I had preserved it. Only for a second. Such like this. As I dialed his phone, my hands remained steady. Nicole here. Luke, do you recall our discussion about selling I'm prepared? Trinity was standing in the doorway when I hung up. Are you all right? No? I was honest. However, I will be... As they took and stole something from me. I glanced about at the walls I had painted. The flooring I had redone. And the life I had created. Hardened. Much like concrete. My house was what they desired. All right. However, they were going to discover the consequences of pushing the family doormat too far. The fragrance of coffee and new printer paper filled Luke's workspace. With practiced efficiency, he laid out the papers on his desk, indicating each line of signatures. The sale is final once you sign these. He continued. We may close in 48 hours, since the investors are providing cash. Do you have complete confidence in this? I grabbed the pen. What is the amount? For 25 once again. Sufficient to pay off the mortgage and leave with a respectable margin. I kept my hand over the page. 5 years of my existence. Reduced to a page's worth of numbers. I reflected on all of the overtime, missed vacations, and credit card debt I had accrued in order to maintain this property. I said, do it, and began to sign. Trinity's automobile was waiting outside. It's finished. Though, my seatbelt was fastened. On Thursday, they take possession. Nicole. She took hold of my hand. There's no turning back after you've done this. Family isn't what your family is. I withdrew my hand. They simply become quite accustomed to taking advantage of me. It buzzed on my phone. Rosalind texted to say she was getting engagement pictures done at the home tomorrow. Ensure that the lawn has been mowed. I presented the message to Trinity. She gave a low whistle. The boldness. Oh. It improves. I read through other texts. The reception is already being planned by Mom. My dad is considering turning my home office into a nursery. Do they genuinely believe you will give it to them? They do. Don't they? They don't believe they anticipate. I passed by the house on my way to work the following morning. Rosalind, wearing a flowing white dress, stood on my front porch as a photographer set up equipment. Like a Hollywood producer, rearranging potted plants, I'd spent years growing. Mom set the setting. Mom insisted on keeping the Sunday breakfast ritual. So I continued to drive. Amid wedding magazines. Rosalind presided over the neighborhood cafe. She said that the caterers want a final number. You're not bringing anyone. Are you? Nicole, you'll just be seated at the singles table. I answered, stirring my coffee. Actually, I may not be able to make it. There was silence at the table. You might not make it. What do you mean? Mom could have frozen hell with her voice. Your sister is getting married at my place. Rosalind went on. Where, at this stage? You are really simply a homesitter. Dad put his newspaper down. Nicole. Stop giving your sister the attitude she needs. I must leave. I threw money on the table and got up. Work-related items. On a Sunday. Mom laughed. When did you start, since I am responsible for paying for everything myself? The words sounded harsher than they should have. A pair looked across from the adjacent table. Sorting through boxes of old pictures I had taken from the home took up the remainder of my day at Trinity's apartment. The majority were yellowed pictures of festivities I missed at work, and family holidays I had never taken. Then, 3 years ago, I discovered a handwritten message hidden within an album. In his sloppy handwriting, Dad discussed with Jerry how selling the house would generate enough cash to pay off bills. Nicole doesn't have to find out just yet. My hands began to shake. While I was dying myself to rescue it, they had attempted to sell it behind my back. Are you all right? From the kitchen? Trinity called. I showed the message to her. In any case, they were planning to sell it, following all that I did. Jesus. She gave it 2 readings. These folks are no longer worth defending. Nicole. I took out my phone and sent Luke a text. Everything remains scheduled for Thursday. He responded immediately. Ready at 9 a.m. The new owners are performing their last walkthrough. I needed to finish one more family meal. Another evening of feigning that Mom got takeaway because she was too busy planning the wedding to prepare meals. As Rosalind went over her restoration ideas, we sat around my dining room table, which I had refinished myself. She said that the partition separating the dining room and kitchen must be removed. It's really out of date. Bearing load. I mumbled. What nothing? I put my house keys on the table and got up. Everyone stared at them in silence. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Oh, dear. I knew you would act morally. Dad nodded approvingly, finally displaying some family devotion. Grinning, Rosalind grabbed the keys. I knew you would change your mind. Baby. Easton. Tonight is the best time for us to begin packing. I made my way to the door, stopping only to text Luke one more time. It will take place tomorrow. I could hear them preparing, rejoicing, and vulture-like, dividing up my life behind me. They were unaware of what was about to happen. Karma occasionally requires a little encouragement, and Karma was arriving with moving trucks and legal paperwork at precisely 9 in the morning tomorrow. All the way home. I grinned. For our final family meal at my place. I got there early. Watching them dig their own graves with every entitled statement tonight was more important than the moving trucks that would arrive tomorrow. Mom rearranged my spice rack for the 10th time, while rushing around my kitchen as if she already owned it. These expired months ago. Nicole. How do you manage to live this way? I get by. I looked at my phone. Luke confirmed the schedule for tomorrow in 7 scriptures. Rosalind rushed in carrying 3 swatches of paint. For the living room. I'm considering sage green. The hue is pretty simple right now. I had painted those walls myself for 12 hours. Ross. Do anything you want. Dad had already wandered in. I'm 3 beers deep. He grabbed one of the samples of paint. It appears pricey. Nicole. I take it you're paying for the renovations because you're not helping with the wedding. Easton showed up with a bottle of champagne before I could reply. It's time to rejoice. The first portion of our wedding present was recently transferred by my parents. We can get started on the kitchen makeover you've been dreaming of. Ross. Excellent. Rosalind gave a hand clap. At last, we can get rid of those terrible countertops. After 3 months of putting in extra hours, I built the countertops myself. Trinity, who had demanded to be present to offer moral assistance. We got my attention from the other side of the room. She nodded subtly at me. Dinner is prepared, Mom declared, as she brought a dish to the table. Nicole, I take it we're utilizing the good china. Your grandmother's set. You've already packed it away. To keep myself safe. I grinned. Dad held up his drink. Maybe we should make it official. To Nicole, for doing something properly at last. And thanks to Rosalind for providing this site with the much-needed makeover. Everybody clinked their glasses. I looked at my watch and took a sip of water. The show is 12 hours away. Rosalind leaped up. Oh. I nearly forgot. The location of the tent setup must be known by the wedding coordinator. I'm thinking about your garden right now. The day after I paid off Dad's gambling debts, I planted the garden. Every flower was purchased with borrowed funds and worked tirelessly. That sounds great. I answered. Mom smiled. You see, this is the essence of family. Helping one another. Let's not drag this out. Nicole, I know you've been tough about it, but it's good to see you finally accept your sister's happiness. I cut you off. You achieved your goal. Sis. Don't be resentful. Rosalind gave an eye roll. It's not pretty. Additionally, you are welcome to visit at any time. When we go on vacation, we could even let you house it. I sneaked upstairs after supper, while everyone else was preoccupied with wedding preparations. The majority of the boxes in my bedroom were already labeled, packed, and prepared for tomorrow. The final family portrait, in which we all appeared content before Dad's gambling and before Mom's deception, was on my bed. Rosalind was the golden child before that. Behind me, I heard movement. In the doorway appeared Trinity. There is nothing that you owe them. I am aware. This still stings even after I put the picture face down. We both jumped when there was a crash from downstairs. My beloved reading chair was being dragged toward the front door by Rosalind and Dad. When we hurried down, "What are you doing?" I insisted. The new aesthetic isn't compatible with it. As she struggled with the chair, Rosalind spoke. It will be added to the pile of donations. While figuring out how to salvage this house, I spent many nights in the chair that I had saved from a thrift store and had holstered by hand. Something broke inside of me. Give up. I sounded like ice. Set it down. Oh. Rosalind whimpered. Hurry up. Avoid being theatrical. Put it down. I said. They genuinely listened. Perhaps because of my tone or something in my face. Nicole. Mom's mediator voice began to be used. Your sister is only making an effort. To what end? Take more. Destroy more. I approached the chair and ran my fingers over its shabby arm. What's humorous? Do you all believe that tomorrow will be this significant? New beginning, fresh starts. Your ideal little dream. Dad scowled. What is the intended meaning of that? I took one final look at my phone. The screen lit with Luke's message. Everything is scheduled for 9:00 a.m. Nothing. Sweetly. I replied. Simply thinking aloud. Everyone. You need to sleep. It will be a fascinating day tomorrow. You see, Mom put her hand on my arm. I knew you would change your mind. After all, blood is thicker than water. Her touch on my arm caught my attention. Then Rosalind's arrogant attitude at Dad's contemptuous look. A footnote in their story of the ideal family. After 5 years of hardship. Mom. You're correct. I took her hand away gently. Water is not as thick as blood. And you will all discover just how thick it is tomorrow. They chuckled, presumably assuming I was making some awkward toast. However, Trinity caught my look and promptly excused us from going. She inquired in the vehicle. Are you prepared for tomorrow? I was already rearranging my furnishings and making plans for my family's future in my home as I observed them through the window. I claimed I was more than ready. They need to understand the consequences of biting the hand that feeds you. I parked across the street from my house at precisely 8:57 a.m. There were already 2 moving trucks. A silver Mercedes. I didn't recognize. And Luke's automobile. From the passenger seat. Trinity replied. Just on time. Are you prepared? I observed as the Mercedes' new owners. A well-dressed couple in their 40s. Got out. Luke shook their hands in greeting. 3, 2, 1. I did a countdown. Mom's SUV screamed around the bend, just like it should have. With her face contorted in bewilderment, she jumped out after barely putting it in park. A few seconds later, Rosalind and Dad's vehicle arrived. What's happening? BMW Mom strode over to Luke and demanded, Who are these individuals? Luke's smile was professional. Good morning. The sale is being handled by me. The realtor? You must be the family sale of the prior renter. Rosalind let out a cry. Which sale? I got out of my vehicle. Trinity is directly behind me. Dad was the first to notice me. Nicole. He rushed over. What on earth is this? This is the new owners taking possession of their property. I remarked gently. Mom's face turned pale. What are you discussing? We got the keys from you. I handed over my extra keys to you. After 5 years in my name. The deeds are now in theirs. I pointed to the pair, who were becoming increasingly uneasy as they watched the incident play out. This is not possible. Easton grabbed Rosalind's arm as she surged forward. This is where we're meant to reside. Your current issue is the wedding. I gave Luke the last set of documents. The home has been sold. I'm going to call the cops. Mom struggled to use her phone. Proceed. I dismissed the sales law. I am perfectly entitled to sell my house. Your land. A scarlet flush came across Dad's cheeks. Your family is us. Family, I chuckled. While I'm working 2 jobs to save the house. My family doesn't try to sell it behind my back. I did find the message concerning your conversation with Jerry. That. As if I had smacked him. He staggered back. This is crazy. Easton raised his voice, glancing between Rosalind and myself. You owned the house the entire time. Every property tax bill. Every repair. Every mortgage payment. When your fiancée was sharing selfies from the beach. I looked him in the eyes. To keep a roof over her head. I was putting in extra hours at work. Trinity took the lead. But you, ungrateful little mom, started. I carefully consider what you say next. She cautioned the movers to get to work. The moving team came over as if on cue. Where do we start? The main bedroom. Everything is labeled. I said. Then Rosalind screamed. Strangled. Are you just going to give them everything, not all of it? I took my phone out, displaying the inventory to her. Only the majority of stuff is mine. Because I purchased everything. Don't worry. However, I went to the garage and left your old posters. Luke called to my mother. Mrs. Burton, who was now sobbing uncontrollably. You must relocate your car. The driveway must be accessible to the trucks. She cried. This isn't happening. How could you have treated your sister the same way you treated me? Nicole. I placed myself first and caught her look. Dad took hold of my arm. Here. You listen. Safety. When Luke yelled. 2 cops in uniform got out of their patrol car. I hadn't even seen them come in. Is anything wrong, Dad? Let me go right away. The new owners are eager to start moving in. Luke went on without incident. Everyone who isn't involved in the transfer of property must go. It's not over yet. With mascara streaming down her cheeks, Rosalind spit. Do you believe you have won, Nicole? You just gave this family the finger. I gave her a glance. For the first time in years, I gave her a serious look. My younger sister, who continued to take until she ran out of things to take. No. I answered softly. At last. I stepped outside the explosion radius. Chaos ensued over the following hour. Mom cried. Dad tossed a chair. Before Easton literally dragged her through it all. Rosalind attempted to shut herself in my office. Trinity. Luke. And I watched as movers meticulously packed my life onto trucks. Are you certain you're prepared for everything as the final box was loaded? Luke inquired. My family was clustered behind their automobiles, giving me looks that varied from skepticism to contempt. On a bright Thursday morning, 5 years of selflessness, deceit, and unspoken animosity culminated. What's humorous? Do you? For the first time in years, I said as I got into my car. I think I'm breathing. Trinity gave my hand a squeeze. To what location? As I turned on the engine, I took one final glance at the life I was leading, the family I had lost, and the house I had rescued, leaving behind at last. Anywhere except here. I saw Rosalind yelling something I couldn't hear in my rearview mirror as we were leaving. However, I was unable to hear her voice for once. Social media is where the aftermath first appears. Mom's Facebook post portrayed me as a monster who had shattered her sister's ambitions and abused family trust. The comments were full with prayers and thoughts from her country club pals. Did you notice this? Trinity threw her phone on the coffee table in our new apartment. Your mother is accusing you of forging the document. I read the post through. It's funny that she omitted the bit about their initial attempt to sell it. It buzzed on my phone. One more banned number. 12 calls have come in since the morning. Mostly legal advice from Dad's gambling friends. Nicole. We both jumped when there was a knock on the door. It's in the east. Can we have a conversation? Trinity's eyebrows went up. She opened the door when I gave her a nod. Easton didn't look good. There were heavy bags beneath his eyes and wrinkles in his normally immaculate suit. Rosalind has been watching my phone. But I know I should have phoned first. Enter. I pointed to the sofa. Please. Coffee. I took a deep seat. Since Thursday, I've been going over everything. The debts. The house. Everything. Why was I not informed? Did you think I was real? Over? Rosalind Trinity brought him a coffee, which he accepted. Most likely not. But now, he showed me a text thread on his phone. I've been asked to invest in some by your dad. Yes. Of course. Claims to know a man. I'll guess. Jerry. Perhaps. How did you? 3 years earlier? He attempted to sell the house to the same individual. While I was still making mortgage payments, I showed him the note I had discovered. Easton's expression dimmed. Don't you think there's more? A notification appeared on my phone before I could respond. I was tagged in a public post by Rosalind. Some sisters end up becoming great friends. Others turn as cunning snakes that ruin families. Easton muttered. She's been like this all week. The wedding has been postponed. She continues promising to fix things and find a way to make you pay. In relation to payment, Trinity launched an online banking application. This morning, your fiancé attempted to gain access to Nicole's previous accounts. Fortunately, we relocated everything. Easton wrapped his hands around his head. I no longer even recognize her. Or perhaps I didn't know her at all. We all looked up through the window because there was a ruckus outside. Rosalind was running across the parking lot when I saw her. High-end purses that swing like a weapon. How did she? Easton began. Most likely. They followed you. I got to my feet. Prepare your phone. Trinity. Before we could close the door, it exploded open. There stood Rosalind. Perfect mascara. In spite of her anger, you bitch who destroys homes, she hurled her drink in my direction. Some expensive iced coffee that left a brown stain on my shirt. Are you happy now? Everything is damaged by you. Rosalind Easton took the initiative. Put an end to this, hold on. Our future was stolen by her. We were intended to live in that house. I wiped coffee from my face and added, it was never yours. As usual. You simply thought you earned it. We are related. She let out a scream. Oye. You owe us. What I lost the money I made throughout those years. I placed my life on hold. Oh. Nicole. Poor thing. She gave a smirk. Playing the victim all the time. You believe that you are so ideal and moral. You're only envious. Though. Because my parents have always loved me more. There was silence in the room. Even Rosalind seemed surprised by what she had said. You're right. I muttered. You were loved more by them. You all ensured that I would never forget it. Karen's voice filled the room as my phone buzzed once again, alerting me to a message from a number I hadn't seen in years. It's your aunt. Nicole. I heard the events. You need to know something about the true reason why everything went wrong. As if they had. I'm Rosalind. The face turned pallid. You dare not speak to her. Why not? I moved in closer. She could tell me about the previous times you attempted to take something that wasn't yours. And I'm afraid of that. The tone of Rosalind Easton's voice had changed. What is she discussing? Nothing. As usual. She is lying. Her voice trembled. Though. We're heading out immediately. No. Easton did not move. I'd want to hear this. All right. She picked up her luggage. Remain here with this resentful, isolated failure. Check to see if I'm interested. She slammed the door so forcefully that a painting tumbled from the wall as she ran out. Trinity hummed softly. She had a record of everything. That was intense. Indeed. Are you all right? I was questioned by Easton, before turning to my phone, where Aunt Karen's message was still waiting. I glanced at my coffee-stained shirt. No. But I will be. I hit the play button on the voicemail. What did they do to you? Nicole. The home wasn't the only issue. This is part of a larger narrative. Backwards in time. The will of your grandma. The initial action. They have a lot of experience with this game. When you're prepared to face the reality, give me a call. My eyes locked with Trinity's eye. Next is Easton's. The air changed something. Similar to the time before a storm. Are you prepared to delve further? Trinity inquired. I kept Karen's number handy. It's time to see what more they have been concealing. The residence of Aunt Karen was just as I had recalled. On the porch of a little blue home are wind chimes. The family cut her off when I was 12. So I hadn't come here since. You arrived. Before I could knock. She opened the door. Her eyes were as bright as ever. But her hair had become silver with age. I doubted you would. Trinity returned to the car after giving me a squeeze. In 2 hours. I'll come get you. I followed Karen to her kitchen, where a folder full of papers was waiting on the table. Tea. Let's not engage in small conversation. I took a seat. This has to do with Grandma's will. Still. She poured 2 cups. Did your mother never explain to you why I stopped attending family events, according to Mom? You had a financial argument. Cash. Karen gave a sour laugh. 3 months before to Mom's passing. I discovered them attempting to falsify her signature on property transfer forms. My hands began to shake. What? The home. You were meant to receive your house instantly. Mom was aware of Marvin's gambling habits. Regarding his facilitation, she wished to keep you safe. She produced a yellow sheet of paper. This is Will's original form. After they destroyed the official copy, I retained a copy. I read it twice. There was my name. Us clear as day. The property's sole inheritor. Karen went on. They killed the will. Rewrote everything using Jerry. Their lawyer friend. The same Jerry. Dad had made an attempt to sell. The pieces began to fit together. But without my signature. They were unable to transfer the deed. Slowly. I said. They needed me to keep it from going into foreclosure because of this. In order to coerce you into signing it later, they needed it in my name first. Kara nodded. They've been playing this game for years. Setting up Rosalind as the golden child. Making you feel worthless. Indebted. The perfect scapegoat. My voice sounded distant. Always trying to earn their love. You weren't the black sheep. Nicole. You were the sacrifice. My phone buzzed a text from Easton. Found something in Rollins' email. Old messages about the house. You need to see this. There's more. Karen pulled out another document. 2 years ago. Your mother tried to add Rollins' name to the deed while you were still paying the mortgage. How do you know all this? I work at the county records office. She smiled grimly. They didn't know that when they tried to file the paperwork. Another text from Easton. She knew about everything. The will. The forgery attempts. She helped them all this time. I whispered. Every extra shift. Every missed opportunity. It was never going to be enough. Was it? They designed it that way. Karen reached across the table. You weren't failing them. Nicole. They were failing you. My phone kept buzzing. Trinity had sent a link to a local community forum where Mom was playing the victim card. Heartbroken mother seeks prayers. Eldest daughter betrays family trust. I have to do something. I said. They can't just get away with this. What are you thinking? I looked at. The paperwork sprawled across the table. Evidence of years of manipulation. Fraud attempts. Calculated abuse. The truth. I stated all of it. It'll ruin them. They wrecked themselves. I started gathering the documents. I'm just going to make sure everyone knows it. Karen smiled. The same smile I'd seen in old photos of my grandmother. There's one more thing you should know. Your mother and Rosalind. They tried this before. What do you mean? She opened up an old news story on her iPad. Do you recall your cousin Sarah 10 years ago? She had a mental breakdown. I looked at the headline. A local lady kills herself following a family property dispute. They took her there. Karen muttered. The same technique. The same pattern. She just lacked the strength to defend herself. I balled my hands into fists. Send me everything. How will you respond? I thought of Rosalind. Smug face. Mom's fake tears. Dad's dismissive anger about years of gaslighting and guilt trips and calculated cruelty. I'm going to make sure Surrogate's justice. 2. I got to my feet. And I know just where to begin. I was given a last envelope by Karen. You received a letter from your grandmother. She was aware of their plans. When you're ready. Read it? Outside. Trinity was waiting in the car. Are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost. More like a few. I presented the papers to her. Give Easton a call. Ask Luke if he knows of a good lawyer, and invite him to meet us at the apartment. Why Sarah was on my mind. Regarding the will. About years of planned abuse disguised as affection within the family. Because it's time to reveal the true story. I knew exactly who I should send my email to first when I took out my phone and opened it. It was a straightforward topic line. To the Never Was family. The automobile was started by Trinity. Are you certain about this? The proof in my lap at the future, extending out in front of me. Finally free of their shadows. Caught my attention as I glanced at Karen standing in the doorway. Watch me. The country club ballroom filled with chatter. What should have been Rosalind wedding rehearsal dinner had become a family support gathering. Mom's attempt to salvage face after everything fell apart. I hadn't intended to come. But when Easton texted that Rosalind was preparing to announce a fresh beginning at the family estate, I knew I couldn't miss it. Are you ready? Trinity adjusted my blazer as we stepped in. Everyone staring. I whispered. Let them. She laced her arm through mine. They're about to gaze a lot harder. Mom was the first to notice us. Halfway to her lips. Her glass of champagne froze. You weren't invited. Nicole. I was. In fact, I held up the invitation from Easton. +1. Dad showed there with a flushed face from drinking. You're displaying some nerve here. I wouldn't miss this. I see. I grinned. Not Rosalind in particular. Big news. Rosalind clinked her glass for attention, as though she had been called. Her expression was jubilant despite her weight loss. We appreciate everyone's presence in helping our family through this time of change. There was a sympathetic murmur from the crowd. Well, things have been difficult lately, she said, giving me a fierce look. I'm overjoyed to report that Daddy has managed to repurchase our family house. This morning, our offer was accepted by the new owners. There was a clatter. Dramatic tears were brushed away by Mom. That's intriguing. I spoke loudly. The room fell quiet since yesterday. The new owners signed a non-transfer agreement. What Rosalind's glass trembled. For at least 5 years. They are unable to sell. I took my phone out. Oh. And Jerry. My dad. Phoned. He instructed me to inform you that the casino is still awaiting payment. Dad's face turned pale. Did you speak with Jerry? We had a fantastic chat regarding faked paperwork and unlawful property transactions. I looked at Mom. Do we also need to notify everyone about cousin Sarah? Don't you dare. Mom gave a hiss. How about Sarah from the throng? Someone called. Nothing. Rosalind hurried on. Like usual. She's lying. I had emails. So I linked my phone to the presentation screen in the room. Bank documents and the original will. Even the documents they attempted to use to transfer the deed behind my back were destroyed. Documents flooded the screen. As individuals began reading, gasps echoed across the assembly. Switch that off. Easton halted Dad's attempt for the controls. They ought to see, he added softly. Everyone ought to see that you assisted them. I informed Rosalind that you were aware of everything. Including Sarah. You assisted them as you watched them tear me apart for years. I didn't. She began. Examine your son's emails. I navigate to a different screen. Nicole is working late again. Mom. Excellent. It's time to file the documents. Another gulp. Someone's phone started recording. Everything is being ruined by you. Once more. Rosalind shouted. No, I turned to the audience. They destroyed a cousin. A sister. And a daughter. They falsified records. Committed deception. Drove Sarah to end her life. Lies. Mom let out a cry. Where is your family? Family, I chuckled. Let me explain the concept of family. I explained everything over the following 5 minutes. The attempts at fraud and deception. The tale of Sarah. The fear of the throng increased with each revelation. We've informed the cops. I was done. The falsified documents are of special interest to the DA. Additionally, the case of Sarah is being reopened. Dad sank back in a chair. Black rivers poured out of Mom's mascara. Like a security deposit. You all bet on me. My voice echoed through the quiet room as I spoke. I simply cashed out. Trinity intervened when Rosalind lunged at me. Charges of assault if you touch her. When this isn't over, join the scam. Rosalind spat. It is. In fact, Eastern took a step forward. I've told the cops just about everything. Whispers followed like smoke as the throng began to move toward the exits. Mom's pals from the country club were eager to go. This family has been devastated by you. Mom cried. No. I unplugged my phone. Years ago. You did that. I simply want to make sure that everyone understands why. I heard Rosalind's final, frantic cry as Trinity and I left. I'll make you pay for this. But her voice carried no force now. The reality had torn it away. Outside, Karen was waiting in her car. How'd it go? I showed her the footage someone had previously placed online. This is something they will never get over. Excellent. She gave my hand a squeeze. Sarah would be pleased. Messages rang on my phone. Assistance from random viewers of the video. Making connections amongst old pals from years ago. Reporters are requesting feedback. Now what Trinity inquired? Through the glass. I observed the real-time breakdown of my family's well-crafted facade. In a single night. Years of falsehoods were exposed. I grinned now. Let karma finish now. The beginning of truth. While Trinity and I went over refurbishment plans, the local news played softly in my new workplace. Due in part to the viral tale of how I had salvaged and sold my own property. Our home repair business was flourishing. Trinity checked her phone and stated, "Another email from a reporter. They want to know if you will discuss the plea agreement. Remove it." My attention was on the plans. We've closed that chapter. I was drawn to the voice of the news anchor. Marvin. A local businessman. May spend up to 5 years in prison for forgery and fraud. Next week. His daughter Rosalind and wife Mary will be sentenced. Trinity turned it down. The sentence is not being watched by you. Karen is pursuing Sarah. On the blueprint, I drew a line. That's sufficient. It buzzed on my phone. Easton. Following the affair, he had established his own financial consultancy business. Hello. Have a moment. You ought to meet someone. Customer better. The daughter of Sarah. She is now 18. I just learned the truth about what actually occurred. Wishes to express gratitude. I froze my fingers over the blueprints. I was unaware that she had. Most folks didn't either. She was shielded from the entire situation by her adoptive parents. However, she looked into it after seeing the video. A notice appeared. Rosalind tried to enter my accounts once again. She refused to give up. Even if it meant going to jail. I responded. Send her by the office. I'll find time. I hung up and went down to the window. Our most recent project involved building affordable homes out of an abandoned factory. I wish I had a location like that when I was fighting to keep that house together. My door was knocked on by Luke. Have you found the desired property listings? Regards. I grabbed the folder. How is the market doing? The timing is intriguing. He smiled. Your former residence was just advertised once more. Owners are relocating abroad. I'll guess. Rosalind is attempting to purchase it using a fictitious business. This month's third effort. He took a seat. Doesn't she ever learn? Not one of them did. I showed him an email on my laptop. From her sister's spare room. Mom continues to send guilt trips every day. Dad is trying to get investors for his jail return idea. Trinity gave a snort. They are constant. At least. Sarah's eyes met those of a young woman. Barely 18. Who came in my doorway. Nicole. Miss. My name is Hannah. My birth mother was Sarah. There was silence in the room. I got to my feet. Please come in. She held a folder in her hand. These were in my adoption documents. My mother's letters describing what they did to her. How about you? I made an effort to correct it. For her? I whispered quietly. Did you? Hannah grinned, despite her tears. They took the trust fund from her. The one that was utilized for the residence. It has been retrieved. Now my college is covered. Just how she desired. Luke and Trinity slipped out, leaving us by ourselves. Additionally, I have something for you. I took out an envelope. The one I got from Karen. This letter was written by your grandma. The authentic one. Not the one that they had her write. Hannah accepted it with trembling hands. Are you going to read it with me, together? We sat and read the final honest words of a lady who had sought to shield us both from the lies. Nicole. My darling. It started. They have already attempted to seize everything. If you are reading this. But keep in mind that homes may be rebuilt. Families are selectable. And the truth eventually comes to light. No matter how long it has been hidden. Once more. My phone buzzed. Karen Rosalind texted me once her punishment was over. 5 years. Mary received 3. Are they still accusing you? I presented the message to Hannah. She took hold of my hand. Is the pain still there every day? Less. I surveyed my workspace. Taking in the life I had created from the ashes of their treachery. They believed that by breaking me, they could better control me. It made me impossible to shatter again instead. Outside my window. Hannah said, Mom would be proud of both of us. A fresh wall was constructed by the construction workers against the sky below. The sun shone on our corporate sign. Renovations in Phoenix are creating fresh starts. Do you want coffee? Hannah was asked. I know a few tales about your mother. Not their versions. But the genuine ones? She wiped her tears and nodded. That would be nice. Trinity yelled after me as we left. How am I supposed to handle these? She displayed a pile of letters. The family is making more guilt trips. There was no more of that. Sarah. Hannah. Truth. Repercussions. And the family we select were all on my mind. Recycle them. I said, we're constructing something better now. Hannah grinned. Sarah. Bright. Unwavering smile. We left the darkness where they belonged and moved into the brightness together. Behind us.